as well, like your pencil?
I think it would be okay to sketch it out in Vine if you use it very lightly.
Okay.
Make sure it's the Vine, right? Because Vine is totally fine to sketch with. So I could even, like you were just saying, could even kind of go over my pencil lines and kind of sketch a little bit. Now what I like to do, what I like to start with when it comes to something like this, I like to go ahead and block out where my shadows are, and I like to kind of block out where my highlights are going to be. So I see over here on my photo, see these kind of really dark, kind of just big tubes, is kind of what I call them, of shadows. I'm going to go ahead and kind of block them in. I've already sketched out everything. I'm going to go ahead and kind of block in where I'm going to have a good bit of dark. This is going to keep me from being scared to get it too dark. And remember, the closer you kind of make your motions happen, the cleaner it's going to end up. And I like starting with Vine because I can always get darker if I need to. What do you think my background I did with? Yeah, I use the soft because it just moves well. And there is a time to use compressed when you want to use it.
Like on the light bulbs?
Like the little details. I don't really know that there's anywhere today on this that you'd want to use compressed.
I mean, what if we use compressed to put our name at the bottom?
You could. But you do always try to sign it in the material you use, so that's a good point. Alright, so I go ahead, I start in with my shadows. I've realized I've made this a little bit too big, so I can just adjust as I go, and that's the nice part. So I'm trying to be kind of quick about how I sketch. I sketch that in. Alright, I'm going to go over here to this little spot to kind of show y'all how I do it, this little area right here. Alright, I'm going to start a little bit of dark in here. And if this kind of worries you to start with the darker areas, remember with pencil it was different. He started a little bit light and then got dark. But charcoal is a lot more forgiving, I think, and a little bit easier to move around. Then you can try to go more mid-tone and then go a little bit darker. That's why I don't go all the way dark with my shadows, because I don't want to get too dark too fast. It kind of makes me nervous. This is just like with your sphere and your light bulbs. You're just laying down what you're seeing. So I'm starting to add in. We don't really want any outlines. We're just wanting value, touching value. I know I'm going to have a little bit more shadow here and pull up. And I'm keeping everything, like this little area here, this little area right here. I'm keeping everything as light as I can when I'm not working on it. I try to keep my hands off my paper. I try not to rest them on it like this, because that's what gets it really smudgy and yucky. That's kind of what started happening when y'all got fingerprints on your drawings. So think about everything that you weren't happy with light bulb, and then think about how you're going to change it. All right, I've got my shape in here. I think it's going to stretch out to about right here. And again, this is why I love the Vine, because it works with you really well. Thank you for watching. About to have a break in a second. Alright. I can add a little bit more. If I layer more and don't rub as much, then it stays darker. So it starts to come together. Already that's starting to feel more like fabric. And so when I add a little bit more dark behind a lighter part, that's what starts to build it. So y'all see how it's kind of building that form? Keeping that outline away, and I can clean as I go. Notice I haven't used the blending stump like at all yet. I'm really just trying to lay down my values. It's kind of like a last resort, because sometimes I don't like how it makes things scratchy either. Okay, what's your question?
Could we use cotton balls? Because I really like using the Q-tip.
You totally could. I also pulled out Q-tips for us to use.
Q-tips are it's too small and scratchy, so I was wondering, because the material with the cotton balls.
You bring whatever you want to help you when it comes to a little thing like that. That's fine. Alright, so I can clean as I go, I work as I go, and then I can start to pull up and come into this next part. I try to leave my edges kind of light, like here, like my reflected light. So see how I can kind of still see that little fold? So I'm trying not to get things too dark. Y'all are doing such a nice job watching. Thank you. Alright, that's our lunch bell. If you need to wash hands, soap is over there. It's going to stay gray for a while, and then it gets lighter. It really helps sometimes too, like when you're working or like kind of toward the end, if you start feeling done with something, if you look at it through your phone, like if you take a picture, if you're starting to feel done and maybe you need to work on it some more, because like I look at it with my eyes and then when I look up at the screen I see something different. It looks a little more real to me because I'm looking at the real thing, but then when I look up at the screen I see something different and it looks way more kind of PC and not quite realistic yet. It needs way more value on it. I need to separate all my little folds. And if you're staying away from lines, outlines, that's the best thing to be doing. Nice thing about charcoal is you kind of feel like you get a little quicker at it every time you do it. You've figured out some problems.